Warning, this is a fictional story. Warning, this is a fictional story. If Germany wins Russia in World War II, a tragic tale of domination and destruction. In the brutal winter of 1943, the world witnessed a historical shift that would alter the fate of nations. The German Wehrmacht, under the command of Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, broke through the Soviet defenses at Stalingrad, capturing the city and securing a decisive victory that marked the beginning of the end for Soviet resistance. With the fall of Stalingrad, the Red Army's morale shattered. German forces, bolstered by advanced weaponry and relentless strategy, pushed eastward, capturing Moscow by the spring of 1944. The Kremlin fell, and with it the Soviet Union's central command. Stalin, realizing the imminent fall of his empire, fled to the Ural Mountains, where he attempted to rally a guerrilla resistance. As the Germans occupied Moscow, they implemented Operation Winter Sun, aimed at securing the vast resources of the Russian heartland. The once powerful Soviet industrial complexes were now producing for the Third Reich, fueling the German war machine with endless supplies of oil, steel, and wheat. The population, under strict martial law, faced harsh reprisals for any resistance, but pockets of defiance continued to emerge, led by Soviet partisans who refused to accept defeat. In the West, the Allies were horrified by the rapid German advance. The fall of Russia meant that Germany could redirect its forces to other fronts, tightening its grip on occupied Europe. The British and Americans intensified their efforts, launching the largest amphibious invasion in history on the beaches of Normandy in 1944, hoping to open a new front and relieve some pressure off the beleaguered Soviet remnants. However, the German hold on Russia allowed them to draw from a seemingly endless pool of resources and manpower. The Eastern Front stabilized, freeing elite divisions to counter the Allied advances in France. Hitler, emboldened by his triumph in the East, issued orders to strengthen the Atlantic Wall, resulting in fierce and bloody battles across the Western Front. By 1945, Europe was a continent in ruins. The once mighty Soviet Union was a shadow of its former self, its territories split into German-controlled regions, each ruled with an iron fist. The vast steppes of Russia became the stage for a new type of warfare, as German panzer divisions patrolled the vast expanses, always wary of partisan attacks. In the cold winter of 1945, as the German Reich celebrated its supposed final victory, resistance continued to simmer beneath the surface. The Soviet spirit, though battered, was not broken. Stalin, from his mountain stronghold, sent out coded messages urging his people to never surrender. The Western Allies, despite their setbacks, continued to push eastward, determined to liberate Europe from Nazi tyranny. As 1946 dawned, the conflict reached unprecedented levels of horror. Desperate to break the stalemate, the United States deployed its most devastating weapon. In a grim twist of fate, the first atomic bomb was dropped not on Japan, but on Berlin. The once glorious city was reduced to rubble in an instant, signaling the dawn of the nuclear age. The blast killed millions and left a lingering radioactive wasteland. Hitler, undeterred, sought vengeance. In a secret project, German scientists had developed their own nuclear capabilities. In a final act of defiance, they launched a retaliatory strike against London. The heart of the British Empire was obliterated, and the world stood on the brink of total annihilation. Meanwhile, in the East, Japan capitalized on the chaos in Europe. With Germany's focus diverted, Japan expanded its dominion across Asia unchallenged. They seized vast territories from China to the Pacific Islands, establishing a brutal regime that enslaved millions. Their technological advancements in warfare and industry transformed Japan into an unstoppable juggernaut. By 1947, the world was unrecognizable. Europe lay in ruins with radioactive zones marking the sites of nuclear strikes. The German Reich, though weakened by internal resistance and nuclear devastation, maintained a grim hold over its conquered territories. Stalin's guerrilla fighters continued their relentless campaign, but the cost was immense and hope was fading. The dream of a quick victory had turned into a prolonged nightmare. The German occupation of Russia, rather than securing a lasting peace for the Reich, sowed the seeds of continuous conflict and rebellion. The nuclear bombings left indelible scars on the planet, altering the course of human history forever. As the world descended into chaos, a new order emerged from the ashes. Japan, now the dominant power in Asia, began to exert its influence globally, while the remnants of the Allied forces struggled to rebuild and resist. The fires of resistance burned on, fueled by the unyielding spirit of those who refused to accept tyranny. In the end, the conquest of Russia proved to be a Pyrrhic victory for Germany, one that stretched the war machine to its limits and ignited a global conflict that would rage for generations. The world had changed irreversibly, and the tragic tale of domination and destruction served as a stark reminder of the horrors of unchecked ambition and the indomitable will of those who fight for freedom.